man-to-man pressure again. And as he throws it, locked up. Stops, launches deep. Jalen Knight, he's got it. Touchdown, Chargers. Williams to the end zone. Touchdown, Chargers. Henry got the ball. Deion Henley. First interception of his career. Surprise. Score. Knocked it out. A touchdown. Touchdown. Head down the sidelines.
If you want to talk ball, I will answer the call. Hello, football fans, and welcome back. It is Answer the Call, the kickoff return show. I am super pumped, super excited to be back, guys. Sorry for the extended time off. Life kind of happened. You know, a lot of things happened. Got married. You know, work was crazy. I didn't forget the season. I still watched. I still enjoyed a lot of football. I wish I was sitting there talking with all of you guys. But I am back. Things have slowed down for me finally. And I know right there, right after the Super Bowl, you know, they're like, oh, he's coming back right after the Super Bowl. Well, hey, that's okay. We have a whole off season, and this off season should be jam-packed. A lot of coaching hires. This off season should be good. Who's going to go first overall, Mendoza, or maybe it's somebody else? We'll definitely be talking about that in future episodes. But tonight, guys, it is the kickoff return show, and I am joined by a very special guest. You all know him. You all love him. I know I do. It is none other than John He from the Pitch Grid Pod. Welcome in, my guy.
What's up, brother? Glad to be on the show and pumped for your return, man.
Hey, I'm super pumped. I'm super happy that when I reached out to you, you said that you would be my first guest back to kind of shake off this rust. I couldn't think of a better guest, man. Super happy. Guys, you saw that awesome intro. Big shout out to Cody from the West War Room Rivals for that awesome setup there. Go check those guys out. Awesome people. They have big time guests on their show quite a bit. So definitely go check them out. Before we get started, big shout out to Will, Joel, and Avery from the 3 Guys 6 Balls podcast. Last week, they let me go on their show, kind of shake off the rust a little bit. I was a little rusty. We powered through it, but I'm happy to announce I am officially back. And also, thank you again, John, for joining. And we got a lot to talk about today. We've got a lot. Guys, we've got Super Bowl recap. Coll of Fame and Shame is right around the corner. We're going to be talking news around the league, which coaching impact we think will have the best impact or the biggest impact. And if we have time, we will talk about the international games and kind of the slate so far. But if we don't, I'll talk about it on a future episode. Super Bowl recap is definitely going to be the topic. I mean, it was just a couple of days ago. And I know me and John here, we were sitting there texting back and forth, and I really enjoyed the game. I kind of wish it was a slightly better game, but all in all, I thought it was a pretty good game.
Overall, I thought it was a good game in terms of like the strategy. If you're into the nitty gritty of it and the defensive tactics and all that, I thought it was like a super well played game on both defensive sides. I myself personally do really enjoy a defensive game. Growing up with all my the Chiefs years with Tom Hawley, Justin Houston, etc., I was prepared for this moment. So you know, I enjoyed it from that perspective. It wasn't the high scoring thing I think a lot of people want or like, but you know, I'm a soccer guy too, so you know, I'm kind of bored already like that. So you know.
Yeah. So I was really impressed with the way that Seattle's defense came out to play. I mean, they completely shut Drake May down for 3 quarters. Completely shut him down. And I'm going to talk about Drake May here in a little bit, guys. I have a couple of images that I want to show you guys. To the Spotify audience, when you're listening to this, we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Kick. So there they will see graphics that you will not see, unfortunately. If you want to see it, go to YouTube, Facebook, Kick, Answer the Coll, and just watch this episode. But the Seahawks defense, I mean, golly. They made the Patriots offensive line look like they were like some Pop Warner team. And that's not the case. I mean, the Patriots offense all year has been pretty solid. And I don't know. I'm kind of shocked that Mike Vrabel didn't have his team more prepared. It seemed like they weren't ready at all.
I mean, let's be honest here. This wasn't the first time in a big game Mike Vrabel has not had his team prepared or looked right. Let's just rewind back to the 2021 divisional round against the Bengals.
Ooh.
They were the seed, and Vrabel was not prepared at all for what Joe Burrow and company threw at him. And the Titans looked so sluggish compared to what they had been all season. And it kind of felt similar to that game, to be honest, except, Seattle wasn't offensively equipped either, because the Patriots had just as good a defense for most of that game. But you knew it was a matter of time before the dam broke. But, Vrabel just seems to just not know how to do a big game management for some reason. And I don't know how or why. I mean, he got through the playoffs in the AFC, but man, he's not beating the schedule allegations really easily. That's for sure.
So you're saying that it's not so much the player's fault, that it's more of a head coaching issue.
Okay. I'd argue it's a combination of factors. I would argue that Vrabel not preparing them is a big part of it, yes. But at the same time, you have to still, the players are, the coach does not play on the field. It's the players who play. And, I think you saw somewhat of a lack of effort in a lot of cases. You didn't see, except on defense, like Christian Gonzalez came to play. He could have been Super Bowl MVP if the Patriots had won. But on offense, you just did not see any effort from Stephon Diggs, Mac Hollins, or even Kayshon Boutte. I mean, you're going to get to it in a bit, I think. But it feels like they weren't just prepared for how physical Seattle was going to be and how abrupt they are, which is been the key for Seattle all year. Just fast, relentless. They're going to attack you every single chance. And New England just wasn't prepared for it. I don't know how else to describe it.
One could argue that, because let's just be real, right? The Patriots had the third easiest schedule in the NFL. So all season, they kind of just had this little cakewalk. And now when they hit the playoffs, they had the Chargers. They had my Los Angeles Chargers in the first round, okay? But I want to point out something. Los Angeles didn't have their starting tackles, okay? This is a whole different ball game if Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt is playing in that game. Honestly, I think the Chargers win that game if the tackles were there. Second, I mean, if it wasn't for CJ Stroud having a complete meltdown, 4 interceptions.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe something else. They went to Denver. Okay. Went to Denver. They didn't have to face Bo Nix because he got hurt the week before. Mm-hmm. So we're sitting here and they had a really easy schedule. They kind of had, they didn't have Patrick Mahomes. They didn't have Joe Burrow. They didn't have Lamar Jackson. They didn't have any of these big time quarterbacks with the exception of Herbert, to face in the playoffs. So really, they kind of had a cakewalk, and then they went to the Super Bowl and they met a real team. They met a team that has a great defense, played really good offensive ball all season, and honestly, they kind of got hit in the mouth, and they just wasn't ready for it. What's one thing though that just really stood out to you in this game, either from the Seahawks or from the Patriots, like what, like on why it impacted the game so much.
I would argue that the single-handed most, and Chris Collins would point this out multiple times, the biggest difference in this game, the escapability of either quarterback. Drake May was not able to escape sacks. Sam Darnold looked like prime Michael Vick dancing into that pocket. Like, my word, I have not seen Sam Darnold be that versatile in the pocket, stepping up, avoiding the rush, looking like he wasn't phased by that pass rush, even though they were getting to him quite a bit with the blitz and, were making him unsettled. He didn't look like he was going to, except for there were a couple of throws that were dangerous, but like he never felt like he was going to throw the ball into a dangerous area and he was going to turn it over like Drake did. So I would say that really got the Seahawks through the first half, and then when they adjusted a couple of things in the second half, they never looked back. And so getting through that first half, making sure that he could escape, make plays with his legs, and make sure that he wasn't going to take a sack was kind of what helped the Seahawks get through the first half and win the game.
I was over at my cousin's house watching this game with him, and shout out to the Matty D. He's a longtime listener of the show, doesn't miss an episode. I know he's either going to be tuning into the live or he'll be listening to it on Spotify. So shout out to Matt for always being here, showing up, and kind of being like a behind the scenes guy for me, giving me advice on like how I can make this show better. I was over at his house, and I remember that play that you're talking about, right? Like Sam Darnold, all of a sudden, he kind of steps up, does a slight pump fake, and then he gets the first down. And we kind of looked at each other and we're like, what just happened here? This is Sam Darnold we're talking about. This isn't, Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson or, even Justin Herbert or Patrick Mahomes. This is Sam Darnold, who has a history of not really being that mobile. He can escape the pocket when he needs to, sure, but he doesn't usually escape and pick up first downs like that. And I just remember that play, and I was like, no way is Sam Darnold beating the Patriots with his legs right now. And so, yeah, I remember that play, and I was really baffled to see him run for a first down, and then, he slid, he protected himself. So I really like to see that. One of the things that stood out for me was Ken Walker. I mean, he established himself early, and the Seahawks had a game plan. They were just going to run it down the Patriots defense throats, and there was nothing the Patriots defense could do about it.
Well, I mean, go ahead, man.
There was moments, and I think even Chris Collinsworth mentioned in the game, that was very Le'Veon Bell-like. Le'Veon Bell has to be really proud because he just kind of skip, and he's waiting for the blocks to set up, and then he hits the hole and he gets that massive first down. So Ken Walker established himself as a top back in the league with his performance, and he earned Super Bowl MVP. I think on the Seattle side, that played a lot on the offense, obviously. I mean, he had 160, 170 yards rushing.
Yeah.
So I was really impressed to see that, he was able to get it done on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing, real quick. No. You were going to say something on Ken Walker. Go ahead with the Ken Walker.
I was just going to say, you mentioned that it was the Seahawks game plan. I think that was the Patriots game plan too. Just both teams wanted to ram it down each other's throat. But,
well, the Seahawks were better.
Yeah, the Patriots came into this game with the supposed strength of theirs being the offensive line. And that was not the case. And, Ramondre Stevenson had a couple of decent runs, but it wasn't anything like Ken Walker had a couple of times where he was going for 20 or 34 or, just gut punches that really set up the chip shot field goals to help get them, to the half. 9-0. I mean, he really set those up. I was hoping Jason Myers would win Super Bowl MVP, but that's another discussion.
Hey, Jason Myers, I mean, there was at one point in the game that I really thought he was going to. I think it was 9-0, and he's already nailed 3 field goals. I was like, might be a kicker winning MVP. And I don't know if that's ever happened or not, but so there's a couple things on the Patriots offensive side that I really just want to kind of, and I'm sorry, Patriot fans, this episode is not for you guys. You know, I mean, obviously your team lost in the big game, so we are going to criticize your team a little bit. One thing that I kind of I felt was the moment kind of seemed too big for the young Patriots offense. You know, you got Drake May in his second year. You got a rookie running back in Travion Henderson, which they didn't use that much. I was kind of really shocked. And then, you know, you kind of got the left tackle. He's a rookie. And with the exception of Stephon Diggs, you have a fairly young wide receiver core. And so I just kind of felt like it was kind of too big in the moment. And Will Campbell got pushed around like bad. He allowed 14 quarterback pressures. That's not what you want to see with the 4th overall pick, first round draft pick, franchise left tackle. You know, he's supposed to be the anchor of your offensive line. And let's not act like he's not used to playing great defenses, right? Because he played in the SEC, he played for LSU. So he's went against some of those top-notch defensive players already in college, and he held his own. But against that Seattle front, and shout out to Mike McDonald for the exotic blitzes he was bringing, because he was bringing Devin Witherspoon on the nickel blitz quite frequently. So he got pushed around, and I think that's kind of partially why Drake May had such a bad game. But let's be real, guys. Let's be real quick. And some of the mistakes was from Drake May in his decision making. Maybe it's inexperience. Maybe it was just I don't know. I mean, he played at North Carolina. He never really played in a big game. I don't think he played a whole lot in college anyway. But there's a few plays I want to break down real quick, guys. And here's the first one. Okay, this is on the opening drive, the opening Patriots drive. Seattle's already went and kicked the field goal at this point. And as you can see, he's about to get sacked right here. He does get sacked on the play, if you guys don't remember this play. Right there in the yellow, the highlighted yellow, is where he could have thrown that ball to not have intentional grounding and not take a sack. This was a first down play. They ended up punting the ball on this drive because he did not throw the ball away. He took that sack and they got behind the sticks. Okay. What are your thoughts on that? Like, because when I'm looking at it, I see that like he has like right here. If this was Patrick Mahomes, if this was Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, they're throwing that ball somewhere to not take that sack. And I've seen it time and time again with a lot of quarterbacks that they're going to throw that. He chose not to throw that. I don't know if it was.
I think he just didn't have confidence in his arm at that moment. Also, I would also argue they would probably try to scramble for it too if they could. Which I feel like also he felt hesitant about too in this game. But on this specific play, yeah, I mean, he definitely could have thrown it away. There's nowhere for him to. I guess he also felt like you see that player in the background there, the secondary. I wonder if he thought that he could have had it picked, so he just felt like he had to eat it. And I know,
okay, that is a good point. That like maybe if he put too much air, then that guy in the secondary shifts over to the sideline. And because if he does pick it off, I mean, it's an easy pick six because there's no one else over here.
Right, exactly. Like that guy's about to clobber him in the arm. So like you know, there's going to be either a forced fumble, it's going to be deflected, or it could be picked. So like, I feel like he felt like, well, it's lose-lose in this situation. Do I throw it and maybe it gets picked, or and I feel like indecision just cost him in this situation. So I would argue. But
okay, so that one is kind of his fault, kind of not his fault. But These next couple ones, man, there's no question about this. Okay, so real quick, guys, this is on the next drive. Mind you, this is still a 3-0 ball game, Seahawks. It is 3-0. This is second down. And what you're seeing here is you're seeing a cover 2 defense, okay? This corner right there on the left, he's going to actually kind of come down, and that's his job, is to kind of play the flat. And I think this linebacker in the middle, his job is to shift back over here to the sideline. And you got your 2 safeties over the top. And so Drake May has that wide receiver on the left right there on a slant in cover 2. If he fires it right there in the yellow, I know it's kind of hard to see because the color of the grass. Next time I'm gonna use different colors, but anyway, if he hits that slant, you can argue that he might get to the 40-yard line real easy, and that sets up a more manageable third down. He does not hit that guy, but instead he chooses to hit this big X. He hits Travion Henderson over here, and it's like a 2-yard loss. And that sets up third down. And yes, I understand, but he is still a professional quarterback, and his job is to read defenses. And as soon as he threw it, I just remember I was sitting there and I was like, he should have hit that slant. He missed that. And this isn't the only miss throw that he made. There was one that I actually didn't get pulled up, but later in the game, he misses Stephon Diggs kind of like right across the middle. If he would have just fired it, boom. I mean, easy first down. But so he chooses the check down option, and it costed them. They lost yards. It's like 3rd and 12 at this point.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, like, I get he should hit that slant. Absolutely. Especially if it's a skinny slant. I also get, again, I kind of get why he doesn't, just because 2 reasons. Ernest Jones leads the Seahawks in interceptions. He's right there in the middle. And if he should be fortunate enough, he could bat that up in the air, cause chaos. That's what the Seahawks like to do, right? Anyway, I feel like also the Patriots just ingrain in players system. And in that moment, he felt like, okay, do I check the safe route? I think he's trying to be a little bit too Brady-esque. Take the check down. Don't force it. And again, it's safe calls. What the Seahawks didn't do is they were bold. They didn't, try to be safe.
I'm going to push back on that just a hair. Brady would have made that throw. Brady all day makes that throw.
Absolutely. I'm just saying
he makes that throw.
In Drake's head, that's what he's thinking.
Brady makes this throw. That receive, and Brady's going to put so you see where I drew the circle. Really, Brady would have probably hit right there on that left side of the line, where it kind of goes straight between the 45 and the 40.
Yeah,
he would have hit him right there, probably at the 45-yard line. That receiver then, he doesn't even have to meet Ernest Jones over here because he's going to turn and just boom up and get probably a first down. So that
makes that throw.
That right there is just one of the plays. Now, I have one more that I want to pick on Drake May real quick. And it's this play. This is the very next play, guys. Okay, so the last one I showed you, this led up to this play. Okay. Yes, he has a defender right here in his face. And yes, he's going to get sacked on this play. But I want you to look. Boom. If he just moments before, I wish I would have captured maybe a second or so sooner on the photo, because really he had time to throw. Okay, this picture doesn't do it as much justice, but he hits that tight end right there. And then you see the other little squibbly line. I think he can get to at least a 40. depending on what the safety does, how quick he reacts, he might be able to get inside the 40 to the 35. They kick a field goal, tie the ball game up. He does not, and something that Jordan Love, they kind of do the same thing in Green Bay. Jordan Love makes this throw, okay, and Jordan Love is far from elite. Jordan Love makes that throw all day. One could argue that Caleb Williams, huh?
Don't tell our friend Isaac that.
But yeah, so he doesn't see the tight end, or I don't know what's going on in Drake May's mind right here, but he misses this tight end right there. So what happens in this play? And I wish I could have found a way to like show you like the play in like full like motion. So this tight end is kind of like a little chip, like he's like a chip and go, right? He kind of helped chip at the line, and then his job is just to run a few yards and then just kind of sit there. That's his whole job. He was to help protect and then go out and be a easy check down. This is not a first down play, but this is if they make this throw, they have a chance at kicking a field goal, tying the ball game up, and who knows what could happen at that point, because this is still a 3-0 ball game. 3-0 at this moment. But instead, he does not see that tight end, and he takes a sack. They had to punt the ball away, and that leads to the Seattle Seahawks kicking another field goal, and then another field goal, and then another field goal.
Yeah.
So those are just a few of the plays that I saw early in the game. Now, I'm not breaking down every one of Drake May's plays. That's not what I'm here to do. Those are just the ones I seen early in the game, and they were the ones that I feel kind of shifted the momentum even more so in the Seahawks' favor. So those are the 3 plays I wanted to point out. Sorry, Drake May fans. I mean, every quarterback has bad days, even the elite ones. So
Don't I know it?
But so something else that stood out to me, for obvious reasons, is and you're happy about this, is Jason Myers.
Mm-hmm.
Came in clutch, guys. He came in clutch with 5 field goals, and we're going to talk more about that. Maybe he's makes the Coll of Fame. Maybe this is a Coll of Fame worthy candidate. We'll find out in just a bit. But Jason Myers comes in clutch. He kicked 5 field goals in the game, and it actually set a record. So I was really impressed. I really, and the longer that it went on, that like it was 3-0, 6-0, 9-0. You know, in the back of my mind, I just kept thinking like a close game like this could favor the Patriots. You know, Vrabel has Super Bowl experience. He knows what it's like to come back. He knows what it's like to play in these close games. However, his offense did not. And another thing I noticed, and then we can switch gears here. They didn't use Travion Henderson very much early. And I was really kind of shocked. What do you think?
They didn't use him the entire playoff run, so I'm not shocked. They very much heavily relied on Ramondre Stevenson the entire run as the main running back. I'm kind of shocked because I felt like in this regular season, they kind of had a good balance going where, you know, Stevenson and Henderson kind of split duties a bit in different situations. I remember the Bucs game where, you know, Henderson had a career day that game. And I felt like that was the perfect display of how to use him well. And yet, I don't feel like he ever really got that same kind of usage after that. I don't know why, but it's interesting considering like how Josh McDaniels runs his offense is very similar to how he ran with Brady. And I feel like he called plays like he was calling plays for Brady. And that's just not going to work because Drake May is not Tom Brady yet. So
he'll never be Tom Brady.
Yeah, I mean, probably not. But you know, I'm just, second MVP. He had a great, fantastic season. It's just he's not he's not up to the caliber that Brady was, and
No,
I felt like in that Super Bowl, Josh McDaniels was like, okay, you're going to be Tom Brady in this, and he's not. So,
no.
so,
And
and
I think
I
that's
feel like,
where a lot of coordinators kind of mess up. It's like you can't ask them to be bigger than what they are. Like,
well, and I feel like that put a lot of pressure on me. I really think it did to make quick, fast decisions because I feel like what they should have done is had plays for quick throws where where the Seahawks aren't able to get the pressure because they're just quick throws all over the place, quick short throws, help him gain confidence and
uh-huh.
settle him into the game, and they didn't do that. Either it was a run or a deep pass, and that just isn't going to work. We've seen, even by Chiefs in the Super Bowl previous, we did that and it did not work out. So
So Seattle did a really good job. They had 6 sacks in the game. It should have been 7, but that last one they end up ruling an interception instead, and it was end up being a pick six. So Drake May had 3 turnovers in the game. Drake May got sacked a lot,
mhm.
and that was something that kind of happened during the whole postseason, and more on that in just a bit. But so when your quarterback is getting hit, I mean, he's getting rattled, and he's getting rattled, and I mean, I can see where the confidence kind of slips. But the Seahawks did a really good job at disguising their coverage, disguising their blitzes, and I mean 6 sacks. I mean, it should have been 7, which would have tied a Super Bowl record for most sacks by a team. But he had the 3 turnovers, and that obviously is what just kind of put the nail in the coffin was the the 3 turnovers and getting the taking 6 sacks in the game. So
I feel
I
like also not adjusting quick enough. We saw in the Texans game and the Broncos game, what turned the tide was they adjusted. Especially in the AFC Championship game, they adjusted how they played their offense and their defense. Because
mhm.
it seemed like in the AFC Championship game in particular, they had a certain plan on defense. It didn't work as the Stidham was taking them down the field, up and down the field. But then on that fourth down play, they sent the house, and it worked.
Yeah,
And it caused the fumble and led to their touchdown, which was on that touchdown drive. They played offense way differently than they did the entire first half before that, and it worked. I mean, it got the Broncos on their heels a bit, and until the snow globe happened, it looked like the Patriots could actually, be taking the game to Denver and actually, maybe, starting to score some points on that Denver defense when they had in the entire first half. So it felt like they didn't adjust and help make Drake comfortable, rolling him out of the pocket,
yeah.
making sure or quick short throws or something to make sure, oh, they're doing this, let's adjust to do this. And I feel like they didn't do that.
Yeah, Seattle did a really good job. Shout out to Mike McDonald. Shout out to Clint
Mm-hmm.
Kubiak. They had the perfect game plan. That is kind of all I really want to talk about on the Super Bowl recap. If you have anything else before we move on, let me know. If not, we're gonna switch gears.
I do want to shout out Christian Gonzalez and the Patriots defense. As much as the
Hey, big,
offense, as much as
yeah,
that offense didn't come to play, that defense came to play because it felt like Sam Darnold and co had no answers except for a couple of Kenneth Walker runs. It felt like Sam Darnold couldn't get anything going on the passing game. JSN was getting locked down big
he,
time,
he was,
and I think he caught his second target in the third quarter.
yeah,
So second out of 8 targets. So it wasn't like the Seahawks were rampant on offense. It was just they they um they capitalized on their opportunities, and the
absolutely.
Patriots didn't. So that's the difference. You take your chances, you
And
win them.
look what happened. I mean, Seahawks win 29-13. So,
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're gonna switch gears a little bit. We have a few more things that we want to talk about real quick, and I don't know if we're gonna get to the international games. I mean, we're already over 30 minutes in, and if we don't, I'll talk about it a different day. No big deal. Real quick, to kind of wrap up the Super Bowl recap. It's the Coll of Fame, Coll of Shame Super Bowl edition, guys. And I have a Coll of Fame and I have two Coll of Shames. We're gonna do the Coll of Shame first, get it out of the way. Go ahead and stop picking on the Patriots. Will Campbell allows 14 quarterback pressures in the Super Bowl. Massive shame. You know, he got pushed around all game. Drake May sets record for most sacks taken in a single postseason. You make the Coll of Shame. Get rid of the ball, man. That's all you got to do. Just get rid of the ball. Don't take as many sacks. But it's Coll of Fame, Coll of Shame. So let's get to the Coll of Fame side of it. And this is my favorite. Jason Myers set Super Bowl record with 5 field goals, as we were talking about earlier. But he also passed, and this is kind of bittersweet because he passes LaDainian Tomlinson for the most points scored in a single season in NFL history. So shout out to Jason Myers for breaking my all-time favorite player, his record of most points scored in the season. So big shout out to Jason Myers, Coll of Fame. You deserved it. If it wasn't for Kenneth Walker almost having 200 yards, you would have been the Super Bowl MVP.
Agreed. Facts.
All right, so we have some news kind of around the league, and I want you to get started with it, man. You were talking to me about a certain player that we were just talking about. He could be hitting free agency. Like, he's a free agent.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of guys. I mean, we had yesterday Pro Football Talk reporting that Max Crosby told Tom Brady that he is not going to play for the Raiders ever again. And that's massive considering all the trade rumors have been swirling around Crosby for a good 2 years now almost. And, there's going to be a lot of teams out for him. And, him saying that, I mean, let's be honest, I don't always trust Mike Florio's reporting. But, if it's true, that's a massive step in the direction of Crosby is probably going to get traded somewhere, and the Raiders are going to get a hefty ton of picks for him. And maybe some players, who knows? And then you have, David Njoku telling the Browns today he's going to test free agency and he's not coming back to Cleveland. So
I was actually about to say that, David Njoku has announced that he will not be returning, and that's big because I mean, he was unfortunately, he's kind of been like the whole Browns offense. So
I mean, the emergence of Harold Fannin helps a lot with the Browns, like willing to let him go, probably. But
it's official, guys. Clint Kubiak is the head coach of the Raiders. He just had his press conference today as a little introductory press conference, and I mean, he had some good things to say. I'm excited to see what he can do. Now, I have a quick question for you. Okay,
shoot,
we're gonna play. You're the head coach, okay, of the Las Vegas Raiders. You are Clint Kubiak. What do you do come draft time? Do you take Mendoza? Do you take what everybody's already saying is the first overall pick? Or do you go a different route? Do you
I sometimes have a hard time about it, but it feels like Mendoza feels like the clear choice. Like, you're not going to stay with Geno Smith. And there's no free agent quarterback that really stands out to you. I'm not getting a Kirk Cousins who I'm overpaying 28 something million for. I'm not going to, get Malik Willis. I might get him as a backup, but I'm not going to get him as my starter for the whole year. I don't know. Clint Kubiak has shown he can develop players like Sam Darnold. So, I would say probably get Mendoza is the safe bet. Get a good, veteran quarterback maybe to help back him up and help him learn Alex Smith style. But that's probably what I would do. What do you think?
So, okay. I'm kind of torn on this, and this is why I wanted to get your thoughts on it first. So with Clint Kubiak, obviously he's probably going to be the one calling the plays for Las Vegas, rightfully so. Mendoza paired up with Clint Kubiak is a great fit. I mean, you got Brock Bowers, you got Ashton Genty, you
Right.
need some wide receivers, and you need to beef up that offensive line just a bit. And so what I want to know is like, would it not be worth it to trade back a couple, get a few extra picks, maybe grab a Ty Simpson, like later in the first round, maybe get a offensive, because then you get a few extra draft picks, you can get an offensive lineman and a quarterback, or a wide receiver and a quarterback in the same draft. So for obvious reasons, it's probably going to be Mendoza. I can't see Kubiak, but I will say in his press conference, which I guess every coach will say this, but they were asking him about him drafting Mendoza, and he goes, "Well, I mean, we still have a lot of film to watch, so nothing's
Well,
set in stone."
it definitely isn't, and things can change quickly. But Brady and Spytek have been rather clear they like Mendoza.
Yeah.
And they're the ones running that show. It's been very clear that Tom Brady and Spytek are running that show in Vegas, and this is not a great quarterback class. Let's be honest. Ty
No,
Simpson,
it's not.
I don't trust Ty Simpson to be an NFL starting quarterback. I don't trust Diego Pavia to be instant first day starting quarterback. Fernando Mendoza, if you're going for a quarterback of the future, that's who you go get in this quarterback class. And you have the opportunity to draft him number 1 overall. That's all.
Mr. B. Rodriguez Media, NFL Playmakers on Instagram. He says, if I'm the Jets, I am giving a king's ransom for Mendoza. I don't care. I would be doing jumping jacks in Pittsburgh. Seems like a lock to Las Vegas. So absolutely,
We want to see that if that happens.
Yes. If they what if, because it's the Raiders and anything could happen. And I get that Brady's there and all this and that, but just like Kubiak's like, you know what? Like, this is my team. Like, this is my ship. And I don't want, maybe he sees. Also, I want to point out that Mendoza's pro day is April 1st. Thought that was kind of funny. So like, what if Mendoza decides like, hey, I don't want to be a Raider? I mean, I don't see Mendoza doing that because he's not that kind of kid. But what if he just like, I don't want to be a Raider? And like, what if he just like kind of stinks it up on his pro day? And Kubiak's like, I don't want that. And so a lot can happen between now and then. We were just playing a what if game. So
hey, I mean, if he pulls an Eli Manning, I'm there for it. That drama I'd be snacking that up.
Real quick, I have three more things to talk about on the news around the league that I found out today. Super Bowl 60 had 125 million viewers, second most in Super Bowl history, only behind I believe it was the Eagles Patriots.
That's a good one. First.
The halftime show averaged 128.2 million viewers from 8:15 Eastern to 8:30 Eastern, breaking NFL social media records. So, just found out a little bit before the show, Rams right tackle Rob Havenstein is retiring.
Wow, that's huge.
That is really huge. That pretty much means Rams have to take an offensive tackle with one of their 2 picks. So,
yeah,
they do have 2 picks thanks to the Atlanta Falcons. So, I don't have anything else on terms of around the league. If you don't,
I'm good, brother.
All right. So, I want you to tell me a coaching hire. It could be offensive coordinator, defense coordinator, head coach. A coaching hire that you think will have the biggest impact in the 2026 season.
Right off the bat, my mind goes to Robert Saleh and Brian Daboll.
Brian Daboll, yep.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. I have so much optimism for this hire. Robert Sala, like we know he had a disastrous time with the Jets, but like listening to his interviews, coming into this process and getting the hire, it sounds like he's learned a lot from his time with the Jets, and that he's going to be calling plays. He's opened up about how he felt like he was too afraid to do that in New York, which is very interesting, considering how hands on he is in San Francisco usually, and
Well, and you know, NFL playmakers, you can, if you're still here, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Woody Johnson is kind of a very picky owner, and from what I hear, he doesn't allow his coaches very much leeway. It's like, hey, you got to do it my way, or it's the highway type deal.
yeah,
Um,
true.
I mean, I could be wrong, but that's just kind of the vibes that I get
Yeah,
from that.
but like hearing him saying he's going to call his own plays gives me a lot of hope because that Titans defense has pieces on it. There's no doubt they're young, they're hungry. They need to add a bit more to that defense and offense. But like you got a great mentor for Cam Ward, who did not look terrible last season. He looked pretty good. Even despite being on the Titans, he had a lot of good flashes this last season. So Brian Daboll, brings in a guy as his quarterback coach who he had with him at Alabama and Buffalo and in New York. I like the continuity here. I like giving Cam Ward a good mentor in Brian Daboll who helped, transform Josh Allen to one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Um, and with an owner in Miss Amy who is starting to become hands off, I kind of like that the direction the Titans are going, and they have 100 million cap. Like if they spend
Uh,
that wisely, they could easily turn this into a Patriots situation.
I actually had that too. Robert Saleh, I really like this hire. Tennessee needed a fresh start, and that's what they'll get with Saleh. He's not coming alone, obviously, with Brian Daboll. Um, in a weaker AFC South, I'm not going to say weak anymore because with the emergence of the Jaguars and the Colts, if they get healthy, I think Daniel Jones, if Daniel Jones is on the Colts, I think like the AFC playoff picture would have been a little different if he didn't get hurt. This could be a really fun division. So,
Yeah.
but so I don't say the exact same thing as you. For obvious reasons, I am super pumped that Mike McDaniels is coming to LA, going to be the offensive coordinator, pairing up with Justin Herbert, pairing up with Lad McConkey, pairing up with I think Keenan Allen's coming back, Quentin Johnson, Amari Hampton. So I am super pumped to see what this offense can do. Now I'm going to say right here, February 10th, if the Chargers don't do it now, they will never do it. And as long as I live, they'll never win a Super Bowl. They have the best chance right now. They have a great head coach. They have a great offensive coordinator. The defensive coordinator is somebody that has been with the Harbaughs for a while, so he knows their system already. And I heard nothing but great praises from the defensive coordinator, Chris O'Leary. If the Chargers don't do something this season, Adam Gase, as a passing game coordinator, if they
Yeah.
don't do something this season, they will never do it. And it's unfortunate because, it's just wasting a lot of talent. But I'm really stoked for Mike McDaniels being there. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to stay in division, though. I think Clint Kubiak is going to have a big impact. I think he's going to turn around that Raiders organization. You got Tom Brady in the building,
Mm-hmm.
greatest quarterback, greatest Super Bowl winning quarterback ever. But so I really like what he can bring, and think about this. He drafts Mendoza first overall, rookie contract. Ashton Genty, rookie contract. Brock Bowers, rookie contract. Guess what? You can go spend all that almost $100 million on wide receiver, offensive line, defensive help, whatever you need, because you have 3 key players on offense all on rookie contracts, and you're not paying them for 2, 3, 4 years now. So I really like, and as a fan of football, I welcome the competition. I welcome, I want the AFC West to be the best. I hope that like it's like just like last week of the season, anything can happen. All four teams are still in it type thing. Now, obviously, as a Chargers fan, no, I want the rest of the division to stink it up and the Chargers run away. But I am a fan of football first, and I hope that I hope every division's competitive. I know it can't be because you have to have those teams that just absolutely suck every now and again. But Clint Kubiak to the Raiders with the guidance of Tom Brady and almost $100 million in cap space. Still got to figure out the whole Max Crosby thing. Is he going to be there? Is he not going to be there? But this could be honestly like one of the best situations. And I think, that's what the Raiders were patient. They let all.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead, man.
I was just going to say, it's a very much a win now hire. And they're banking on him changing the culture, him being a lot better than Pete Carroll. And, if it works out, it's going to work out. If not, they are going to be set back again another few years. And that's going to hurt them again. I think Mark Davis might go insane if that happens.
I think Mark Davis should cut his haircut, get a haircut if that happens. But
well,
anyway.
obviously, but that goes unspoken.
That's big shout out to Will, Joel, and Avery. I had to get the Mark Davis haircut in my segment somewhere. They always find a way to get it in their segments. I had to get it in mine. So shout out to them boys at the Three Guys, Six Balls podcast. They're probably just wrapped up their show. So their show will be on Spotify tomorrow. Definitely go check it out. This has been a great offseason in terms of coaching hires. You got John Harbaugh to the Giants. I'm not big on him bringing Matt Nagy over, though. That's kind of a head scratcher to me because John Harbaugh, the Harbaughs are not schemers, right? They're not good play callers. They're team builders. I'm going to get you like motivated to want to win type coaches. And then you go and get Matt Nagy, who let's be real. He was a glorified offensive coordinator in Kansas City. Andy Reid called the plays, not Matt Nagy. I don't care what you said. If you know football, you know that Andy Reid's the one calling the plays. It just Matt Nagy might have carried around a clipboard every now and again.
And he designs Matt Nagy designs the plays.
You do what?
Matt Nagy designs the plays.
Oh, he designs the plays. Oh, so he's a play designer.
Kind of, yes. In a sense, in a hybrid sense. Him and Andy both collaborate on that.
Real quick, the Ravens have promoted Anthony Levine Sr. to special teams coordinator.
Yep, very Ravens move with them. Very Ravens.
That was some breaking news just 3 minutes ago as we're live here. It's been a really good coaching cycle. Clint Kubiak to the Raiders, John Harbaugh to the Giants. I'm still kind of scratching my head on Mike McCarthy to the Steelers. And if you guys listen to when I was a guest on the Three Guys, Six Balls podcast last week, that seems like a lateral move to me. Like you had Mike Tomlin and you got into the playoffs. Well, guess what Mike McCarthy is? He's going to get you 12, 13 wins. He's probably going to get you into the playoffs. He's probably going to lose in the first round, just like Mike Tomlin, He's
a move to get Aaron Rodgers to stay.
Yeah, and I'm not a big fan of that. No offense to Aaron Rodgers. Hey, you've had a great career, but, man, I think it's about time you just hung it up and go hang out with your buddy Pat McAfee, So, but it's been a really good coaching cycle. I'm really stoked for the offseason.
Mark LaFleur out of this either. The Cardinals, I think, got a good hire. And I think if they're patient, he can work. They just got to be patient.
Well, that's the key is you want to know the one I hate the most? I absolutely made no sense to me. The Dolphins. Jeff Hafley or whatever.
Yeah.
So you went from Mike McDaniel, who was great offensive minded, first-time head coach, to now this guy who's a defensive guy first-time head coach. So,
Yeah,
Joe Brady to the Bills. That one could be interesting. He seems like he's trying to
I
get the
have
team
some
fired
thoughts
up.
on Joe Brady is higher, but that's a whole other podcast.
Oh boy. Well, we have just a few minutes, guys. I think we are actually going to squeeze in the international games. If you don't have anything else on the coaching hires
I'm good.
or impacts. Okay. So the international games, guys, we're going from 7 games to 9 games in 2026. Rio, Brazil. The Cowboys are going to play in that one. The return to Germany. London 3 times. Madrid, Spain. The return to Mexico City. But first time, Melbourne, Australia. It'll be the Rams versus the 49ers. And we're going to swing back to that one. And then we have Paris, France, Browns versus Saints.
I hate we're not doing Ireland. I'll just say that right off the jump.
You hate what?
I hate they're not doing Ireland again.
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer. Okay, obviously they're trying to expand the Browns fans organization overseas. They're putting them in these international games, maybe trying to hopefully get them to come to the United States to cheer on the Browns to fill up the seats. But that's a whole nother story. The thing that stood out to me the most here is that Rams versus Niners international game in Australia. Division game. I'm not a big fan of this, guys. I'm not a big fan of division games being played internationally because the whole purpose of the division games is you play one at your stadium and one at your opponent's stadium. Now you're taking away from whoever that home team is. They don't get in their stadium. So technically speaking, they are playing 2 division away games against the same opponent. And that's not fair. We saw it last year, guys. We saw it last year. Week 1, Kansas City and LA. One could argue that right there. I mean, that was kind of the start of the downfall of the Chiefs.
Yep. Much as I hate to say it, yep.
But so I'm not a fan. Let me know, guys. Like, am I crazy on this? I'm just not a fan of division. I'm all for international games. I'm all for it. It's cool, seeing the fans overseas, and they get really into it. I'm just not a fan of division games being the internationally. If you want to have Browns versus Saints, if you want to have Cowboys versus Bills, absolutely. Do not have Rams versus 49ers in Australia.
And to back up that point, like, this is going to be a very niche example, but I told Tim this one. I'm a Kansas State fan. We had to go play Iowa State in Ireland, probably one of the biggest games of our season, because it's a rivalry, and they were considered one of the best teams in the conference this last year, going into the season, and we lost. We lost that game, and after that, we started 1-5. 1-5 because we had no buys after that game. And boy, did we need that bye after that game because we clearly did not look prepared. We looked so rusty and tired for those next weeks. And we did turn the season around. We did get to where 6-6. But like it just shows like these international games need to be done carefully and have a little bit more thought. I know it's box office, Niners, Rams gets the TV views up, and people into the seats, but still, I'm leery of it as well. So,
yeah, I'm just not a fan. Like I said, if you want to have 2 random teams, if you want to have inter conference, if you want to have AFC versus NFC, kind of like the Browns and the Saints, I'm all for that. That's cool. Like it's going to be a road game, regardless. And I mean, so but like division games, no. So, well, guys, this has been fun. But before we get out of here, I am going to put the spotlight on Mr. Pitch Grid because this is where he gets to close out the segment and tell us where we can find him, If you're living under a rock and you don't know who the Pitch Grid Pod is, this man right here is the Pitch Grid Pod. He does wonderful work, guys, and you can find him. But I'm gonna let him tell you where you can find him and what his show is all about.
Well, appreciate that, man. On my show, we cover everything NFL. We talk a lot of football like we did here today, and also we cover the other football, soccer, MLS, Premier League, English football championship. We cover all of it, and we try to give you as concise a perspective, a lot of perspectives, try to cover every club, every team. No team needs to go unnoticed. No club needs to go unnoticed. Each team deserves to be covered. You can find us pretty much anywhere you're on social media. If you're on TikTok, you're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Apple. We're all those places. You can find us. It's an audio only, but still, we try to give you the best coverage, the best perspectives on all the latest news and events happening in soccer. We got World Cup news heating up now that marches upon us, Intercontinental playoff. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. We're going to have some cool guests hopefully coming soon. So tune in if you want to subscribe.
To the fans that don't know, because I was one of those fans, how did you come up with the name The Pitch Grid?
It's so, and we all know what if you're a diehard NFL fan like Mr. Coll here is, you know that the NFL field is called the gridiron, and in soccer the field is called the pitch. And I decided, you know what? Why not combine the two? I'm combining both footballs into this. Why not combine the name? So Pitch Grid became our name, and thus it was born.
I am one of those fans because I had a conversation with him. I think it was a phone conversation months back.
Mm-hmm.
And I was one of those guys. I was like, why do you call yourself the Pitch Grid? Like, I understand the gridiron part because, I know NFL, I know college football. It's called the gridiron. So I get the grid part. I was like, what's the pitch part? And he goes, well, the pitch is what they call a soccer field. And I'm like, had no clue. I just called it a soccer field. And so I was one of those fans too that I didn't know. So I wanted all you guys to know why he is called the Pitch Grid. He is on all social media platforms, as am I. Answer the Coll, COLL, Spotify. The episode should be uploaded there first thing tomorrow morning. If not, it'll be tomorrow afternoon. You guys have a great night. Thanks for tuning in. John, thanks for joining the show. It's been a lot of fun.
Absolutely, brother. Always fun to come talk ball, man.
And just remember, talk ball with Answer the Coll. Have a good night.
Stay sharp, y'all.